Hello and welcome to Startline, brought to you by the Manx Motorcycle Club. I'm Beth Espy and this podcast is about everything road racing, both on the Isle of Man and further afield. From the races and the teams to the organisers and officials, it is all here on Startline. Well, welcome to this episode, which I think really does show that racing, especially here on the Isle of Man, is not all about the riders. Today, we are shining a light on two of the people behind the scenes. John and Linda Mullin have marshalled around the mountain course. They've supported riders, including Lee Stanaway and Jack Fowler, and they really have become part of the wider racing family, and that is what makes the Manx Grand Prix and the TT so special. John brings the engineering know-how, the stories, the tea making, and the legendary Nana naps, while Linda brings the calm, warmth, support and even a bit of knitting in the paddock. Together they talk about friendship, marshalling, supporting riders, dealing with the more difficult side of motorsport and why the Isle of Man keeps pulling them back year after year.
John Mullin is my name.
Linda Mullin speaking.
Wonderful, and that jackhammer is really going for it now. You know, John, I said to you, I know the perfect spot to go and do this interview. It'd be lovely and quiet. We'll just try and ignore that a little bit. We're here talking about you and Linda and your support of racing here on the Isle of Man. How did it all start?
It all started, I was marshal years ago, and I was doing that for about 8 years, and that was okay, but I felt I could do more, because I'm a bit of a hands-on guy. I'm an ex-Rolls-Royce aircraft engineer, and I built engines for Rolls-Royce, so I felt I could do more for, the mechanical side of thing. So I put a message out on Facebook. I like to call it Bookface, but I know it's called Facebook. So I put a message out on Bookface. Anyone want help? I gave a bit of background about myself, and I got 2 or 3 answers. One was Jack Fowler, and one was Lee Stanaway.
And so, presumably, John, there's an interest in bikes that you've had for a while.
Yes, when I was a kid, Rolls-Royce, I was a Rolls-Royce apprentice. Me and my mate, Adrian, used to buy a bike in a box, and basically somebody's old project that had gone wrong, and we fitted it all together again and made a motorbike out of it. So my roots in motorcycling have always been there. And
did you ride yourself?
Yes, I have a full motorcycle licence. Unfortunately, my favourite vehicle was a Vespa SS 180. I grew up with scooters because I was a sore boy.
Linda, what about you?
I marshalled about 5 years ago with John because I'm deaf. I can't do the radio. I can do anything else. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And I'm with the pallet now with the racer. And I do a bit of knitting when they're gone off. And when I see people walk past and they're looking at me, but Lee, our racer, he comes back and he sees me doing it. He loves it. It calms him down.
That's great. I mean, you must get, not a lot of time to do that, I suppose,
no.
But some good projects?
Yeah, well, it's just relaxing. With the noise going on in the background, it's lovely.
That sounds brilliant. So, John, I mean, being able to be part of the racing scene and support these riders is great for somebody who's got an interest in motorcycle racing. But I know there's some interesting stories that you've had over the years since your involvement over here.
Loads and loads of stories. We must have marshalled at 20 or 30 different places. You name it, we've pretty much been there. Favourite place to go? Kate's Cottage. They feed you there. You get food. You get cream cake, and the cream's from a cow, not out of a tin. The lady and the man there, they marshal as well, and sometimes they sit in their kitchen when it's raining, drinking their coffee, waiting for the race to start. So it becomes more of a social thing. I always say we don't always come to see the racing because it rains. We come to meet whoever's complaining, oh, it's raining. I'll go, oh, well, actually, you've come here to meet me.
And you know what, John and Linda, I think, marshals are held in such high esteem over here because people realise, you are giving up your time for free. You are putting all of that effort into making sure other people can live their dreams. And, yeah, that must be quite a remarkable thing to do because it is a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, I love to recruit marshals. I must have recruited a dozen to 20. My favourite is Doug. He's from somewhere in the USA, and he put a a thing on the internet saying, where shall I view from? Coming over to see the TT, where shall I view from? I said, join the marshals, view from wherever you like. And he went, how do I do that? So I told him. He did it online, and then he said, I'll meet you in a pub when I come over. And we met in the Trafalgar, called the Traff, in Ramsey. I hadn't got a rose in my lapel. I was carrying a copy of the Times, and neither did Doug, but we knew each other almost instantly, and we've been friends ever since. And he calls Linda your lady in an American accent.
And that's just lovely, isn't it? The friendships that are built up doing this sort of thing. I mean, you hear about it all the time, but for anybody who's thinking about marshalling, I guess for some people there is a little bit of apprehension because they're not quite sure what they're going to have to deal with, and that's the difficult side of it.
If you become a marshal, you never have to deal with anything you're uncomfortable with. You just say, I'm uncomfortable with this. You can actually walk away, and no one ever does, but you'll not be asked to do anything that you don't like. But usually you get involved on day one if you want to.
And then you mentioned, obviously, Lee Stanaway, Jack Fowler. How have you found working with those two racers?
Fantastic. You can't believe the privilege of being there. I mean, you're not there among all your famous stars, and they're actually quite normal people. I've even seen them doing their washing. I love being with the teams. They're great fun.
And what sort of things then are you doing practically for them?
Practically, for Lee, initially, the first thing was, how do you make the tea? And I had to tell him.
I know that this is a subject very close to Lee's heart, so just be careful here, John.
Yeah, well, Lee likes his tea bag left in the cup, but Linda and I like it in a pot, so we make ours in a pot, which I sometimes sit on the bonnet of my classic car. It's a 1989 Citroen CX, and I sit it on the air grill, and it looks like it's been heated up. And that all brings calm and, some sort of unity to the team.
And as you say, fundamentally, these are real people doing pretty extraordinary things at the end of the day, and there is so much stress around it. Actually, just to have that level of calm is really important, and you need that among your team.
Yes, you do. And Lee said of me and Linda, what was the word? Foundation. He said, you're the foundations to reality. When I come back in, it's calming. Have a cup of tea, see Linda knitting, calms me back down again. First one he done, the first lap he did, it was really odd because he come back and he went, that's it, and took his gloves off. I went, what do you mean? He said, that's it, I've done it now. How do I follow that up? I said, you man have got the rider's version of post-mental depression. And he went, what? I said, you're just feeling like, well, that's it, I'll never do anything better. He went, right, I'm off bike racing, because it was just a practice. You could come and go as you please within the time. And he went back out. Linda,
have you ever knitted a tea cosy?
No.
Maybe that's a thing for your teapot, actually. I was just thinking about that. Yeah, it's an incredible thing, John, and I think unless anybody's been over here, marshalling isn't just about dealing with the riders and anything that might happen during a race. You have got that responsibility to look after the spectators as well, and I guess sometimes there are those difficult conversations that you need to have with people.
Yes, spectators can be difficult, but what I usually do before a race, I usually walk around talking to them. Just involve yourself. I find that very easy, and I sort of get them on my side. I've had a situation where one chap wanted to cross the road up at Governor's Corner, and he kept saying, why can't I? Well, then the crowd stepped in and went, leave him alone, man, you can't cross the road, that's the end of it. And the crowd were on my side from my previous chats. Also, if I have the radio, I tend to involve, I don't keep what comes over the radio a secret, I tend to involve the crowd. So if a chicken crosses the road at Glen Helen, you tell them, a chicken on the road at Glen Helen, and then they go, you can hear it, go right through the crowd, chicken on the road at Glen Helen. And that involvement just helps people to feel part of the greatest motorcycle event in the world.
There is really nowhere like it, is there? And it just sounds like your passion for it and Linda's passion for it is just so immense. You spend quite a lot of time over here.
5 months a year, 2 months, 1 month for the TT, 1 month for the Manx in a little caravan. Lovely. But we do have the proper certification to get it here if anyone asks. And that's easy. You just message the Department of DOI, is it? Yeah. And they send you a little permission slip back. So we stay for 2 months like that. And we rent every winter. We love the island. And every winter we come over for the last 4 years and just rent.
Where's home when you're not here?
Northern France, near Normandy, near the beaches where everything happened in World War II. It's lovely.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm just looking, you made some notes here. You were very prepared, John. I'm just intrigued by the one that says Nana Naps.
What I do is, if racing's, we get the bikes through scrutineering and then we'll be up the top end of the paddock, I might just have a little nap. And one time I had my feet up and Michael Dunlop's team were really revving their patterns or somebody. I could hear it all in the background. I'm fast asleep. But unbeknown to me, Jack Fowler's dad, Neil Fowler, took a photograph of me and posted that on the internet saying, "Team hard at work," and called it my Nana nap. And I find it very refreshing. I've had a nap about 3:30 every day since I was 25, and I reckon 2 sleeps a day probably help you to live forever.
I'm going to take that advice on board. I love it. Probably need to see that photograph as well, if you can send us that one.
Oh, I can send you that photograph, no problem whatsoever. There's a couple of them. And my nephew, Chris Woodcock, who used to race here in the 90s, he messaged back saying, "Nice boots, John." Because I had some new boots. The photograph was taken more or less right up my leg. Do you like a nap, Linda, in the afternoon?
Oh, yeah, sometimes I sleep, but not very often.
Yeah. Not as often as John?
No.
And just looking at your list here, the pubs on the island, I mean, and that is always a talking point. There's some great pubs around the mountain course.
Great pubs, and our first year we were here, we got the 1 month bus pass, and we went round all of the pubs. Fantastic. My favourites. Do you want another favourite?
Yeah, go on.
Sidings in Castletown is one of my favourites. Most of the time we spend, if we're in Castletown, we go there. If we're up a bit farther, we go the Albert in Port St Mary. The one I've never been to and I always mean to go to, and I've got a bus there now, number 8, goes to Foxdale. It's called the Baltic, and I quite fancy that. But there's a filling station across the road, and I was with Lee Stanaway, our racer, and I got some fuel I said, "Just nip across to that pub and have a look and see what it looks like." He come back and went, "It's just a pub." And I went, "Well, oh." But I've really got to go there because I'm finding good things about it. Of course, then you've got the pubs in Peel. I mean, I could go on and on and on about pubs. I do like to drink beer. Most bikers do. After all, we are supposed to be born to be wild. Pint of beer helps that now and again.
It really does, and like I say, actually you definitely need to go to the Baltic and Foxdale. It's a great one. I think what makes a great pub is that atmosphere as soon as you walk in, isn't it? You just want to feel like there is a community there. It's sort of absorbed into the walls and you can just sit down and, just be part of it.
Yeah, the pubs here are part of the community. A bit like the Rovers Return on Coronation Street. It's where they all chat, and I've met people from the pubs elsewhere, and they're going, "Hello, how are you?" Not in a pub environment after that, down the shops or something. And you think, "Oh, who is that? Where do I know them from?" But if they give you one little chat, and you think, "Oh yeah, that was that chat." Sometimes I have half a dozen chats every night. We'll go to the bar for a pint and get Linda a drink and not get back for 10 minutes.
So when you aren't on the Isle of Man then, what are you spending your time doing?
We used to do a lot of bodyboarding. What I did, I got my bus pass when I was 65, obviously, in England. And the first thing I did was I got on the bus with my bodyboarding kit and went down, it was in Cornwall, to go surfing, bodyboarding. I never go in above my navel because I'm not a great swimmer. But bear in mind that was 6th of December and it was pretty cold. But I went down there with a cup of tea and that's pretty much all I did. And talked to other surfers who are like us actually. You're sort of kindred spirits, and anyone that's there on the 6th of December are hardened people. We didn't do much surfing, but we did a lot of chatting and drinking of tea.
I love this. You know, what you're sort of talking about is forming those friendships in the things that you have got an interest in, but then are helping other people when we're thinking about racing. What would you say, John, to somebody who thinks, I'd love to be part of this world and I'd love to give support to a rider? How do you even form that relationship? Where does it start, would you say?
It's easy. You just talk to people. You just walk up and talk to them. Them that don't want to talk, you know, very quickly, and you don't bother. But most people are quite outgoing. The bigger stars like your Michael Dunlops and stuff tend to be a bit more reserved, a bit more reluctant. But actually, some of the Manx ones who are quite famous, all of those people will always talk to you, always got time for you.
And do you get a sense, when you think about Lee and Jack, a sense of what your support means to them?
Absolutely. I get messages from Jack. Linda actually made him sandwiches this year. He doesn't eat them, but his dad does. I think Jack has his own diet. And anyway, they were there. And Linda got a message on Facebook later on to say thank you, which is nice. Same thing with Lee. We just support him in any way we can. What I told him once was, you're my gentleman and I'm your butler, and I have to send you out properly dressed and fitted out for the occasion. And motorcycle racing, I basically have to keep you calm. And there's lots of ways you can do that. For instance, round the paddock, you'll never, ever, ever see me run, because that transmits hurry up to the riders. A lot of the teams do run. It's not necessary. I just think it just doesn't give the correct vibe. So anything I can do to keep you calm is what I'll do.
And what's it like for you and Linda when your riders are out there?
Worried. You look around, you see all the faces, family. It is worrying for everyone, and you do have those thoughts. It's the same for us all, and you're all quite relieved when they come back. But I never tend to say that to them. Although I have said to Lee, oh man, you know, if you decide not to do this, you just walk away. Walking away, you're not going to let anyone down. It's just your decision ultimately to ride or not to ride.
Yeah, trusting that gut instinct is a really important part of it, isn't it? Yes,
trusting in that instinct. I never have to pep talk them. It's not my place, really. Especially Jack and Lee. You never have to really say anything. You just have to exude a calmness. That's really all I do.
And as you sort of mentioned, you know, over the years you have seen many things, and there is that other side to motorsport. And I just wonder, when presumably you will have had to have dealt with certain incidents and whatever, is how you maybe get over that and sort of move on from it and are able to come back, I guess.
Yeah, we've seen now one fatality. One second. Yeah. I had to say a little prayer.
But presumably, John, you have all those people around you, and that's what the marshals are so great for, aren't they? They come together. You know, we all know that the risks of motorsport, and that is the really awful side of it. But actually, do you know what? For somebody, knowing that somebody like you has done something like that will mean such a huge amount.
Yeah, I've had to push the button once, and he was all right. You know what I mean by push the button? It's more than just a Sugar Babe song. You have to push the big red button on top of your radio. I had no problems with doing that. The bike broke into many, many bits, and my life slowed down at that point. My recollection of it is seeing the fuel tank from the bike bouncing down the road like it was gone on its holidays down towards the railway pub at Union Mills. Luckily, the chap was all right. He had respiratory problems, broke a couple of ribs, but I couldn't believe how many bits the bike was in. That's no real problem coming back from that, but if it's more severe, it does affect you a bit. But what I tend to do is put it to the back of my mind, like a lot of things, just put them to the back of the mind, because these guys choose to do it. They're never going to be stamp collectors. They're never going to be. They're going to either be jumping out of airplanes with a parachute or bungee jumping or something, and it's their choice ultimately.
Would you ever have liked to have raced a mountain course?
Me race a motorcycle? No, I haven't got any ability. I can fix them, but no, I haven't got the ability. That sharp-wittedness. Lee was taking the cordon at Craignabar, and his wits are really sharp, and he said, I'm there flat out round the corner, whatever, 80 miles an hour at Craignabar. He said, look up, and over there I see a guy drinking a pint of beer, and I can read what beer he's drinking from the glass. And he said to me, how can I do that? I went, that's why I don't ride, because I can't do that. And you've obviously got an immense amount of computing power within your brain where you can just take that corner at that speed and have brain power to spare.
Do you think it's something you can learn, John, or do you think it's something you're born with?
No, you're born with it. You can learn to play a guitar like your Claptons, but you can't play it like them because they've got talent. You can learn a skill, but you can't learn a talent, and these guys have got a talent.
That's a brilliant way of putting it. That's why I don't ride a bike, barely ride a push bike. I just want to mention something else which you did refer to a little bit earlier, and this is your car, which is quite an iconic vehicle parked out there. I might have to go and get a photograph of it. Has it got a name?
It has. My grandchildren call it Grandad's Spaceship, and they love it. It's my daily drive, a 1989 Citroen Estate, and sorry to all you people out there for holding you up. I'm a bit of a 42 mile an hour merchant. But lots of you have seen the car, and people go up and go, love the car. The car brings happiness. I've had all sorts of thumbs up, cheers. It's almost a daily occurrence. People like the car. Grandad's Spaceship. Sometimes I get 4 grandkids in it, go to the beach.
Oh, that's lovely. Any of your children or grandchildren showing any interest in following your footsteps?
Well, they like their motor car racing, but not this. If I could just get them out here once, they'll be infected.
They really would, wouldn't they? They really would. How many children do you have?
I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren.
Oh, that's so lovely. And it sounds like, they're a huge part of your lives. Presumably they don't live that close to you.
They live in Dorset. Well, for a while I was a mobile mechanic in Dorset. I'd left Rolls-Royce by then and started up my own little business, and that's where we all lived, in Dorset. And I moved to France, or me and Linda moved to France, because we wanted a farmhouse, and a farmhouse in France was 80 grand, and a farmhouse in Dorset was 1.8 million. So the equation.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
it was an easy equation.
And is that what you've got then in France?
Yes, that's what we got. Initially, when I moved there, I was still working. I was only 57 or 58, and I actually commuted. It was northern France, 45 kilometres from the ferry port, that end, and the same in the British end. So what I would do is Friday morning I'd go out to France. I'd be there by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2 o'clock. Friday, Saturday, Sunday all day, Monday till Monday evening. Come back on the ferry Monday evening, start work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Great life. And wow. 2 years of that until they cancelled the boat, and then we did something else.
Yeah. Do you speak French?
Oui, un peu, but I get myself into trouble.
Oh gosh, I just think there are many more stories to come from you, John. What I would really love to do actually is, and we know Lee's going to be back over for Manx Grand Prix this year. It'd be great to get you both together and talk about some of these stories.
We go well together. You might find some sort of Morecambe and Wise double act going on, but it'll be funny to us and hopefully to the rest of the world. But we have a great time and a great relationship.
That's just brilliant. I mean, and obviously you mentioned Jack as well. So you've got a couple more days here on the Isle of Man. When will you be back over?
For the Manx. It's all booked. Ferry's all paid for. It's all ready to go. So pretty much all set. Wonderful.
It's been lovely meeting you both. Keep hold of those notes. I think we've got many more chats to have with you, John. And the drilling stopped, which is good.
Yeah, what happened this morning when we got here, like Beth said, I've got this lovely quiet place, and as we're walking up towards it, there's this jackhammer going. I'm thinking, wow, what a day to start on that work. But we did laugh.
Brilliant to meet you both. Safe trip home, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Beth. Lovely to meet you. See you later in the year.
Thank you.
John and Linda Mullin. And as I said there, I'm sure there are many, many more stories to come from John. It really would be great to get him and Lee and Jack together if we can make that happen, hopefully maybe during MGP 2026. Thank you as ever for downloading and listening to this episode. If you go onto our social media pages, lots of photographs of there, including John's famous Nana nap, and we will see you again next time. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this episode of Startline. Do take some time to find the riders on social media. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you'd like to get in touch with me and be part of the podcast in the future, you can email Beth at startline.im. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.